everyone, my name is Juliana Gomez. I will be doing my humanities engagement number 5. I picked the option number 5 of connection. It's the faith integration. The reason I picked Soul Surfer for this topic, it isn't because there are already some faith integrations within Soul Surfer, but I wanted something more realistic of what humans struggle with in the faith and also outside of the faith. And so I picked this movie specifically because I thought it was more relatable than just a movie that is of drama and of sadness or melancholy or different emotions that people do feel. But I think it's the struggle that we all face in going through hard times and leaning on our faith or not leaning on our faith, or having the people surrounding us say one thing but feeling another. So I believe Soul Surfer was a perfect example of that. And so when we get started, I'm going to start off with talking about the background of what Soul Surfer is. And so Soul Surfer is the tale of Bethany Hamilton, which happened in real life to her. She was swimming one day during her surfing and having fun with some friends, and she was bitten by a shark and she lost her arm. And so this changed her life forever because she was a competitive surfer. This was her life. She lived to surf. And so she lost her arm, which when you surf, you basically need 2 arms to get yourself up. But somehow she has adapted herself to train up and win competitions and become the best of the best with 1 arm. And so now she is part of the disabled community, but has overcome so many obstacles in her life. And so throughout the entire plot line of Soul Surfer, you can see the struggles that she faces as she starts to adapt to a one hand, and how she has to look for companions around her to help her as well, and to humble herself because she can't do it all now. And so this was an awesome movie to watch, and I've already watched it in the past, but once I watched it again, I found a new appreciation of how the movie was structured and how the director really casted what Bethany must have felt in that moment, or even the actors of how they portrayed how Bethany felt, or how her family supported her and didn't know what to say or how to make her feel better because they are not in the circumstances that she was in. And so there are some key points within the plot that really is a turning point in Bethany's life. And so the first one is when she lost her arm. And if you can see at the bottom left-hand corner, that is a scene of her losing her arm and being pulled into shore. A shark attacked her during this time in this scene, also in real life, but to the movie's standpoint. In this scene, this is when her life does a 180. She has to flip around. She is in so much pain, and now she has lost an arm. Then she goes through a really hard phase of getting to understand why she lost her arm, and then just throwing away surfing. She's never going to surf again, and she goes on a missions trip. So I think this is the next point of when it starts to shift for her. She goes on a missions trip to a tsunami disaster in 2004 that really changed the life of the people that were living there. While she was with her missions team, she met this little kid and saw a surfboard and wanted the little kid to go to the beach and not be afraid. And so she gets in the water herself, even with what has happened to her and the circumstances that she went through. She still put down her wants and her needs before others. And so she extended that hand to that little boy to bring healing, which brought healing to her. And then finally, the last turning point in her life is when she goes into a competition fully ready and fully prepared to do the best that she can with her one arm and to face her biggest rival, someone that has pushed her to be better, but also has been a motivation of that she can do things, and that no one's going to take it lightly that bad things happen to you, but you have to make the best out of all your circumstances. So I think these are some 3 key points in the plot line that change the plot line completely. Going into our theme, the theme of Soul Surfer is to never give up on your dreams. Bethany Hamilton wanted to be the best surfer that she could ever possibly be, and she grew into this amazing professional surfer, but with hard circumstances. And so for us as Christians, we go through hard times, and we see people walk through things that they never expected. But for us, we have a foundation of Jesus, that he is always going to be with us. He's always going to lead us. But when we're looking at the secular world, like, focusing on your dreams can go a really long way. And so some of the faith integration that was already adapted into Soul Surfer were Jeremiah 29:11 and Psalm 16:8. I thought these were amazing verses to put in there, because they're very simple, and they're beautiful but complex at the same time, showing that God is always going to be there for you, that he's never going to leave you within any circumstances, and things happen for a reason. And so those are basic standards and philosophies that even in the natural world, they still apply to. Even though they don't know it's truth, and they don't know that it comes from the Lord, God is still speaking to them. And so for us, it's our job to extend that and say, hey, this is where it's from. And so the story of the plot of how everything went, my evaluation for the movie was it was created in a way that portrayed how Bethany was feeling. And so there were some parts that I said, oh, we could have done without that scene, or there was a scene where she had a conversation with a friend while they were looking at some bathing suits. I didn't think that was very needed, but in the end of the day, once you put everything together, you were looking at how Bethany felt while she was looking at bathing suits with one arm. You didn't understand that she could say, oh, I could never wear this again. Or, you may look cute in it, but I don't feel as beautiful anymore. And so, in a sense, while the director was creating and the actors were performing, they were creating an emotion of what Bethany and her story was telling. And so, it was a wonderful movie. I would recommend it to anyone, just as a support, and to say that whatever you're facing in life, like, you can conquer all things, especially with the Lord. And so I saw this movie on Netflix, and it was directed by Sean McMorrow. I believe that's his last name. I apologize if I butchered it. I am not the best at saying last names. But I hope you liked my presentation. I hope you go out and watch also Soul Surfer and enjoy it as well. So many blessings. Have a fantastic week.